Hello there, my name is Steve Rennie. I am the Ren Baron, and this is my Ren Baron Learning to Fly YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be flying a flight here on my simulator here from my office here, and we're going to be flying from Santa Monica Airport here down in Southern California up to Livermore Airport up in Northern California. Livermore is the home of the Livermore National Laboratory. I think it's the Livermore, the Livermore National Laboratories, where they've done all kinds of great stuff, including back in December, they managed to do something great, which was actually do a nuclear fission with more energy on the way out than on the way in, which has some great repercussions for the future of our clean energy and so forth. Anyway, today we're going to be taking a little practice flight up there because I'm going to go up and get a tour of the facility here in the near future, which I'm very excited about. So anyway, let's get started here. First things first, we're going to need a flight plan, and our flight plan, as you can see right here, I've gotten that flight plan by putting in KSMO and KLVK. We've gone over to the route section here, and I picked up a route right here, which is at LAX, Victor 23, Gorman, Victor 137, Avionics, and then Uhoot, I guess is how you pronounce that. So that's the one we're going to be flying here today. We're going to be using Pilot Edge today for our ATC instructions and so forth. And I'll be flying the flight on my Cirrus simulator cockpit here that I got from the fine folks at Real Sim Gear in San Diego, California. Next best thing to flying in the plane, but gas is a lot cheaper on this baby. I'm going to go ahead and fix my seat here, all right, and get situated. I got my two co-pilots, my two K9 co-pilots over here. Let me see if I can show you those little pups here. Hang on. Let's see if we got them there. Oh, there they are. Hello, fellas. Say hello. Oh, Jay. Say hello. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, back to the sleeping mode here. Gotta love the dogs. Can never go wrong with the dogs here. Anyway, back to the hangar, if you will. We're gonna get started here. I'm gonna fly the flight just like I normally would. We're going to be taking some questions on the chat room here for anybody who actually shows up, and we'll come back to that a little bit later here. So right now, let's go ahead and get on in the airplane and get rolling here. Okay, here we are in the cockpit. First things first here, let's go up. We're going to put the keys in the ignition. That's the easiest place to find them. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the glove box here and get our engine numbers and so forth. Right here, we're going to open that up, and we are going to go and get our engine numbers. Right now, it's 23.8 is our Hobbs to start today. Our engine numbers are 18.6, and we'll get our fuel, which will make that 92 gallons, but we'll get that here in a second. So let's close that glove box up, come back up top. And now let's, hang on, let's come back over here. And now let's get this baby fired up and going. All right, so I'm going to give you a little overhead view here of what's going on here in the cockpit. Actually, let's do it from the top here. All right, so battery 2. And you get a little bit of whir, and the fan starts to go. Battery 1, we'll get that one going, and we'll turn on our strobes to let everybody know we are rolling here. Let's go down to our throttle quadrant and make sure that our fuel tank is in the proper position, and it is. Let's turn off this over here. We're not going to need that just yet. Let's get our heat all the way back. All right, that's all good. Let's go enter, enter, enter. We've got 76 gallons. That's enough to get us going here. This is a little quirk of X-Plane Torque Sim model here, this little warning light. So let's get rid of that. All right, and now let's get this baby fired up here. First things first, we're going to go mixture full. We're going to go power full. Ooh. Had that boost pump going. Hopefully that doesn't mess us up here. We're going to get started here with our prime pump right down here, which is the two options. One up is boost and down is prime. Let's give it prime for 4 seconds here. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. Okay, that's all good. Now we're going to pull that power back to 1/4 inch-ish. I'm going to go over to my ignition switch here, and I'm going to give it a little bit of boost pump, and then we're going to fire this up. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. Now let's give it a go. Okay, we got a nice clean start there. Pull our power back a little bit. We don't need to get that thing racing. Let's go Alt 1, Alt 2, and Avionics are on. All right, we're going to go over to our iPad here for a second. Okay, and the iPad, and let's go and get some information here on, actually, let's send this whole flight plan over to our flight section of ForeFlight. All right, and the reason I do that is because it gives me an opportunity to gather all kinds of information in one place. So the first thing we want is we're going to get our information for frequencies. 119.15 is our ATIS, 121.9 is ground, 120.1 is tower, and 125.2 is going to be our departure frequencies there. Okay, now let's go down to the destination information for Livermore. Click that info button. Let's go over and get some frequencies there. Our frequency for ATIS is going to be 119.65. Livermore ground is 121.6. Livermore tower is 118.1. And approach up there is going to be NorCal approach. Looks to be 12385. All right, so let's put that right in here, and we're going to put all of that information here on our little flight info sheet, which you guys have seen before. If you'd like a copy of this, I'll be happy to send it to you. Send me an email to the to our account there on YouTube, and I will pop that baby off to you. All right, so now let's, what else we need to do? Okay, we got all this going. Alt 2, parking brake. Oh, that Alt 2 now. Now, I get some questions about this from time to time. You'll notice over here on the instruments, our RPM is 1010. That Alt 2 caution light comes up when the RPMs are a little bit low. So I'm betting that if I push this up to about 1160, as you're going to see that Alt 2 go away, and sure enough it does, and then you can kind of ease it back, and it goes the way it's supposed to go here. Okay, so now let's back to what we're doing. Okay, I'm going to go down to COM 2 now here on my, let's go over here so you can see the whole thing. I'm going to go over to COM 2. I'm going to push on the COM nav button here to go down to COM 2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 11915, which is my ATIS for Santa Monica Airport. There she is. I'm going to flip that over to active. Then I'm going to put in 121.9, which is ground frequency at Santa Monica, but it's also clearance delivery at Santa Monica. All right, so that's 121.9. Then I'm going to flip back up to the top here, and I'm going to put in 120.1, which is our tower frequency at Santa Monica. I'm going to flip that over to COM 1 active, and then let's turn that guy down. All right, we're going to turn him down. That, my friends, is Pilot Edge. 125.2 is our departure frequency right now, and we're all set. Okay, so now let's go back over to our iPad for a second. I want some information that I'm going to put in on my sheets here ahead of time before we call everything in on my takeoff briefing. So let's go to the departure section. We're going to click on that takeoff button right here for Santa Monica. Oh, hang on, takeoff. There we go. Okay, we're going to go on runway 21. So we're going to go, elevation here at Santa Monica is 170 feet. 770, which is 600 above that, is our caps available, and 2,000 is our best cap, so that's going to be 2170. And I'm going to put all of that down here on my flight info sheet. Let's go back over to our sheet here. Now what I'm looking for here is what my takeoff distances are going to be. Okay, based on the current weather and so forth, my ground roll is going to be, okay, that's not correct. Let's come back over. We're not quite, you got to set this up probably. Okay, the pilot does not weigh 170 pounds, that's for sure. Let's call it 190. All right, cargo is minimal. We're going to go, what did we say it was? 76 gallons of fuel, so let's put in 76 gallons. Why is this important? If you're new, it's because weight and balance is important in an airplane. You got to make sure you got all that dialed in. So now that looks all good. And so now when we go back over, excuse me, to our takeoff briefing information. That'll give me some accurate information. Okay, our takeoff roll is going to be, that makes more sense, 706 feet. We've got a runway of 3,500 feet. Our takeoff roll is going to be 760 feet to get off the ground. 1,061 feet to get to 50 feet up in the air. Our direction of departure is going to be runway heading. Our cruising altitude is going to be 10,000, not 14,000. If we come back all the way up to the top here, we'll see our approximate time en route is going to be 1 hour and 52 minutes. Going on runway 21, and we're going to be doing a normal takeoff on 21. All right, and then we'll pick up our ATIS. Now that I got all that stuff information, I've got it all right here on my takeoff briefing, so that's what I'll go through as I get ready to take off here. So now let's go and get our ATIS here. Okay, so we're going to go down. We're on COM2. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and click on COM2 monitor, and so we'll pick up the ATIS. Okay, 29904 is going to be our altimeter there. We're taking off on runway 21. Our winds are 220 at 10, which is pretty much right down the barrel. So that shouldn't be much of an issue at all. All right, now let's got all that set. Now let's flip over to, we're on COM2. We're going to flip, let's see, you can see it there. All right, there you go. We're going to flip 121.9 over, and now we're going to go and get our clearance here for Santa Monica, or get our clearance for Livermore here. Okay, so let's go back over here, and let's give them a shout. We're all set. We've got to go to COM2 now. Santa Monica ground, Sierra 768 Foxtrot, Sierra Northwest parking with uniform. I'd like to pick up my IFR flight plan to Livermore, Kilo Lima Victor Kilo. Okay, we're going to read back on, we're cleared to Livermore on departure. We'll fly runway heading to 1,000 feet, then a right turn heading 250, then radar vectors for Victor 23, then ASFILE 3,000 to start, 10,010, 125.2 on the departure, 5643 on the Squawk 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Okay, so now let's go in here and get this all programmed here. So, okay, I like to start. Let's go over here. I like to start here with and go backwards. So let's start with our transponder. We're going to go click on the transponder button. I'm going to go 5643. Okay, and you can see all of that right here, 5643. So that's good. So now I'm going to put a little check mark by that. We've got 125.2 up top already. Let's put in 3,000 on our altitude select right here. There's 3,000. Okay, now I'm going to check that. We want a heading of 250, so I'm going to sync up my heading. I'm going to roll it over to 250. Okay, there's 250. That's the heading we're going to turn to at 1,000 feet. And now let's make sure we got our flight plan in here. Okay, so now we're going to go back. I'm going to hit the flight plan button right here. Let's go menu. I'm going to clear this flight plan out of here. Delete flight plan, enter. Okay, so now we're going to KSMO, LAX, enter, enter. Then let's go, hang on, let's go back to our LAX Victor 23. So we're going to go on the menu here. We're going to load an airway. Victor 23 right down here. That's going to come out on Gorman. We're going to load that. Okay, that's all good. Now we want Victor 137, so we're going to click the menu button again here. Menu, load airway, enter. Victor 137. We want to get out on Avenal. That's AVE. We're going to load that. And then we want Yahoot, I guess is how we pronounce it. So that's Uniform, Hotel, Hotel, Uniform, Tango. Enter, enter. Let's turn that down for right now. Yahoot. And then KLVK, Kilo, Lima, Victor, Kilo. Enter, enter. And now that's all good. I'm going to turn him down just a little bit. Okay. Now, there is our flight plan over here. And now I'm going to just scroll up to make sure it all looks proper. And it does. All right, so good. So now, what we're going to do here is that we're going to pick up and intercept this Victor 23 or join this Victor 23 airway. He's going to give me radar vectors to get me back there. Okay, so let me just show you a little technique here. I'm going to go activate that LAX to Chatty leg, and you'll see why here in a minute. All righty. Okay. Inside airspace. Okay, we already know that. All right. So now I think we're all ready to go taxi here. And I believe we are. So let's just go do it now. We're still on COM 2. We got 121.9 loaded there, as you can see. Now let's give them a call. Santa Monica Ground, Sierra 768, Foxtrot's here at Northwest Parking with the uniform, ready to taxi to 21. Via Alpha 5, 8 Foxtrot's here. Thank you. All right, so now what we'll do is we'll go down here and we'll kick off our break, which I'm simulating for you right there. Now, let's go to our little GoPro camera here, and let's go through our checklist here. I'm going to go checklist. We got to get on the right one now. So let's go before takeoff checklist. We're going to skip through these. We've already started our engines. Taxiing. Okay, parking brake is off. Brakes, we're going to check those in the same. All right, so we've got some brakes there. You can see that's tipping down. HSI orientation is looking good. Turn coordinator, we got to go on to the right. Now let's get her going back to the left here. Okay, that's all a check. Keep our eyes down the runway. Okay, doors are good. Caps handle is good. Seatbelt and shoulder harnesses are secure. Pull back just a hair of power here. Okay, our air conditioner is off, as you can see on the right. Our fuel quantity is 76 gallons. Our fuel selector, let's just switch it back and forth, make sure we're good. Let's pull back a little bit of power here. Okay, our fuel pump is on. Let's keep going here. Mixture is good. Let's put our flaps in here. Flaps on the left here. Let's just air it down. Okay, that's all good. We're ripping through here. Let's that 10-mile-an-hour breeze behind us. Flaps are good. Transponder is set. It's 5643. Our autopilot will check that here in the run-up. Got a little bit of a sunny / kind of cloudy day, but we'll take it. Got a couple days of rain coming up again. All right, so I'm trying not to look at the chat room right now, but I see there's some comments in there. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay, and hopefully the levels are good between ATC, the engine, and your old pilot buddy here. Now, for any of you folks that have flown into Santa Monica, you know that run-up area is on the left, not the right. Here on X-Plane is on the right. So let's just pull in there and just take care of business here. So I'm going to run and pull it in here, and then I'm going to do it. So my engine checks and all of that. Let's swing her around to the left now. Okay, let's hit our parking brake, and now let's go to our engine page. And first things first, we're going to go, we're going to sync up our, actually, we didn't want to sync up our heading. What am I doing? Let's go back 250. Get that set. We'll need that here in a minute. 250, there's 250. So we're going to put on heading mode is what I want to do. And you'll see right here on the sim model that the command bars, the flight director actually tips to the left here, okay? And if I move my heading further, it would go a little bit further, but that's not exactly how it works on the plane, but it's doable. So we'll go to autopilot here, and we'll make believe we've checked that all out. Now from here, what I'll do is I'll click under here on the throttle. I'm going to click that little red takeoff go around button. What that gives me is wings level on the way out at about 7 degrees of pitch, which gets me about 120 knots, which is my climb speed on takeoff out of Santa Monica, which is exactly what I want. Okay, so now let's go and spool up the engine and get this baby going. Okay, we're going to be taking a look at the RPMs. We're going to go to 1700. I turn down that guy though. Let's go to 1700. Okay, let's get her all the way to 1700. I'm blocking my own view here. Okay, give it a little bit more. All right, 1720, close enough. Now we're going to go through our electrical. We want to see what the effect is over here in this electrical section. So I'm going to push up nav. Now normally on the real G6, it's going to move it on every one of these switches. Go to landing, you'll see a little bit of movement there up to 4. That's good. ICE usually pushes it up a little bit further. Pitot heat will definitely move all 2, and sure enough, it does. Now we're going to check our mags. We're going to start at 1720. I'm going to switch to my left mag. We have a drop of about 100, which is a little bit more than I want, but within parameters. And you'll notice the EGTs here are rising. So we're going to click it back to both, let it reset. EGTs start dropping now. Now we're going to go to the right mag, and we get a drop of 50, 40 to 50. EGTs are rising. That's all good. We'll come back to both. That's acceptable levels here. So now we'll pull the power back to 1,000-ish. And we should see the alt-2 light will come on here in a second. Maybe not. Okay, back to our checklist here. First, let's get rid of this map here, the profile on the map. Back. Checklist. Okay, autopilot, we've tested that. We've got our navigation and radios. Cabin heat defrost is set. Our brakes are holding. Power is all good. Checked all of this stuff. Voltage is good. Let's get rid of pitot heat. Let's get rid of ice. Let's get rid of landing lights for right now. Magnetos, we've checked all that. Our engine parameters, we got green. EGTs are a little low, but that'll be fine. I'm going to switch over to my right tank here now, just to be on the safe side. Power levers back to 1,000-ish, and it's good. Flight instruments are set. We've got our flight director set at 7 degrees-ish. Our takeoff go-around mode, we got 3,000 set up here, so we're all good there. Our flight controls, let's go outside and take a look from outside the plane so you can see what's going on. Let's come in here and zoom it in here. All right, first we've got our elevators are working, our rudder is working, left is up, right is down, right is up, left is down. Everything's working properly there. Back to the default view here. Flight controls are free and correct. Let's set our trim now. Trim. The trim needs to be right there where it says TO, takeoff, go around there. Right in there is where we want to go. And then I always take a look out on my right wing and then back on my left wing, left wing here, and make sure my trim looks good, and it does. All right, back to the cockpit here, and let's come in up close here. Trim is set. Autopilot is disconnected now, and that is correct. And let's go to our next checklist. This is going to be our normal takeoff. We know how to do a takeoff, so we're going to take our climb. We're going to go back to the flight plan. We've set LAX to Chatty as our active leg. Once we come out of here, we're going to go straight out departure here, and then we're going to go to 1,000 feet. We're going to make that turn. So now let's do our takeoff briefing here. Airport field elevation is 1. It says 160. It's 170. 600 above that is 770. 2,170 is our best caps. Okay. If we have an engine issue on the runway here today, all right, we are going to pull the power, hit the brakes, and abort the takeoff. If we have an engine issue between rotation and 770, we're going to pitch for 92, mixture off, tanks off, ignition off. We're going to land straight ahead. Won't be much room to land at Santa Monica, so that would be interesting. If we have an engine issue between 770 and 2170, I'm going to reach up, pull that parachute, mixture off, tanks off, ignition off, and float down onto the golf course, which would probably be a much happier ending for everybody here. Beyond 2170, we'll come back to the airport, and one day I keep promising to myself I'm going to do a little sim flight here and see if we actually could get back to the runway here from 217 at Santa Monica. I have my doubts about whether that could actually happen or not. All right, so there we are. Run up is now complete. So now what we'll do, since they've already been cleared to the runway, I'm going to kick off my brakes, and we're going to go over to the runway now. And I'll look through some of the questions once we get up in the air and out of the airspace here. Now, one of the great things about Pilot Edge is they give you that real sense of reality when you're flying in the busy SoCal airspace here, which, it's all I've ever known is SoCal airspace, so it's kind of my norm, but it's busy. And it's good practice. Keep your chops up. Okay, so now I'm going to go over. I'm going to switch to COM 1 now, okay? And now what I'm going to do before I switch over, I'm going to go and put in 11965. Let me come up close so you can see it. I'm going to put in 11965, which is my ATIS for Livermore. Now you're probably thinking, why do you want to put it in so early? And I'm thinking, why not? There's one less thing to think about, 11965. And tower is going to be 118.1. So in my view of the world, that's just one less thing for me to worry about, one less thing to forget when it matters. Now I am ready to call up tower and get us started here. Okay, so ready? Let's do it. Santa Monica Tower, Sierra 768, Foxtrot Sierra, holding short, runway 21 at Alpha 5, ready for departure. Two one, clear for takeoff. 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. All right, so we're going to take it out. We're going to use all of this runway here. It's good practice to get into. They put concrete there, use it. You might not need it all on the takeoff here, but you might need it if you need to do a quick landing here, God forbid. All right, so we're going to swing it out here nice and slow, and we're going to get her on the center stripe here. All right, then we're going to do one last little quick look. Trim, flaps, mixture, boost. We're all set. Okay, now let's give it a little go here and get that right rudder starting in there. Get a little wind coming over those wings, and then slowly but surely 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. Keep our eyes down the runway. As soon as I start to see a 7, I'm pulling back on that stick a little bit. Keep it right over the runway here. Flaps are coming up at 90. We're going to keep that yellow and pink command bars right together. We're going to set indicated airspeed at 120. We're going to turn up tower here so I can hear him. There's the view out the left. Okay, once we get to 1,000, we're going to go into heading mode here. Coming up on 1,000, we're going to go to heading mode. We're going to chase that heading now to the right. Looking for 250, so it's just a gentle turn out of the box, then straighten her up. We're climbing here. We should get a switch of frequency here in a second. Going to go through some clouds here. Now, when I'm flying through clouds, I put my head immediately down, and all I'm doing is looking at that PFD here, which that's instrument flying is all about here. Going to pull our power back a little bit. Get out of the yellow there, or out of the 107s here. Coming up on 3,000. Santa Monica Tower, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, 2,500, request frequency change. SoCal departure, Sierra 768, Foxtrot Sierra, 3,000. Climb maintain 1,000, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. You mean 10,000? Thank you, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Okay, let's put in 10,000 now. So let's go pitch this thing back up, indicated airspeed, back to 120. Everything's full power and everything. So we're going the wrong way, Steve. Come on. Hello. Okay, there's 120. Stay on that too. Now, in reality, we would never get cleared to 10,000 off of Santa Monica here. We'd get 4,000 typically, which keeps us below the LAX Bravo airspace. And 4,000, and once you get to 4,000, then they would typically give us a heading change here, okay? Right now, though, we're going to just go with the 10,000, makes it nice and easy. Let's go switch over to the map here. I'm going to go declutter, because when I'm flying out of here, I want to see what I need to see. The rest I don't need. All right, so there we are at 250, trimming here. Let you come up close, you can see right there. Now, here's what I love about the real sim gear cockpit. You can get it trimmed up, and it'll pretty much stay where you need it to be. Let's see if we get it all the way trimmed up. Pitot heat is required. All right, let's give it a little bit of trim. There you go. Trimmed up nicely. That really works. That's very realistic here. Now, this 0108 Foxtrot here. Okay, that's a little bit more of a turn. Actually, less of a turn. 010. Okay, so now he's setting us up to join that Victor Airway. So I'm going to show you how I do this. Great little technique here that you can do with the Garmin Perspective Plus system here. Okay, so now what I'm going to put it on autopilot here for right now. Okay, we're going up to 10,000. I'm going to zoom out on the map. So now you see over here we got this pink line. Okay, now he's flipping us over to 010. And what will happen here in a second, let's go take a look so you can see out the, let you get the view out the window there. Got a bunch of clouds just like it really is today, all right? So there we're coming up on that 010. Okay, let's go flip over to it. Now, you can see we're pointing now at that LAX to Chatty leg that I made the active leg, all right? So here's a, don't want to cancel that, Steve. Let's go back here. All right, so now that we're pointing at that line, we're in heading mode up here, all right? But here's what the beauty of the Garmin, the power of the Garmin. I'm going to push the nav button out, which makes GPS in standby here. So as soon as we get to that pink line, I'll join Victor 23 on this heading, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Now, I've reduced my workload considerably because we're going to fly straight ahead, and then this baby's going to swing into that Victor Airway, and now we've joined the Victor 23 Airway, and it's nice and low stress on the pilot. Okay, another thing we're going to do right now is I'm going to go over here to the PFD button up here, and I'm going to enable all the synthetic vision, which means for me, I love to see the pathways when possible. Now, you'll notice here on this TorqueSim aviation model, we got a pretty good replica of the synthetic vision here on the PFD, which is very nice. Let's go declutter all the way. Actually, let's get more of that stuff back now. You can see some of the various airspace markers there and so forth. Bit much for my eyes. Simpler the better for this grizzly old vet here. All right, so we got 8 concurrent viewers here. All right, nice. Okay. Don't hear the pilot edge. ATC. Oh, okay. Oh, that's not good. All right, let's go and get chat up here so I can see what's going on. Okay. You're not hearing the... We don't hear pilot edge. Okay, wow. All right, let's go see what is up with that. Explain audio, ATC. Let's go over to our audio mixer here. Give me a second, folks. I'm trying to figure out why we're not picking up. You're not hearing the ATC here, which is a big part of this. Let's go preferences here. One 134.2, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. SoCal approach, Sierra 768 Foxtrot Sierra, level 1010,000. Two 9er 18 Foxtrot Sierra. All right, so what I'm going to do here, folks, give me a second here to get all my stuff back together here, okay? I'm going to pull back our power to 29.5. I am going to pull back our mixture to about 16.1-ish. Missed the climb, all that stuff. We're up to cruise checklist here. Oxygen is not required today at 10. Fuel pump's good. Cruise power is now set. Engine parameters are all good. Fuel flow balance is good. Let's go back to the map here now. All right. I don't know what the heck is going on here with the ATC not working, but it's always something. Let me do this. Let's see if we put them all right here. All right. Well, honestly, I don't know what's going on with the ATC here today. Now let's go take a couple take care of a little business here and say hello to everybody. Okay, from the top here. Sorry about that, folks. Don't you have to call the tower before you start following and checking the ATIS? No, you don't have to call the tower to get ATIS. You just get ATIS on there. Big fan. Thank you, Casey. How accurate is the X-Plane Sierra's cockpit compared with 8 Foxtrot Sierra? It's pretty darn accurate, actually, particularly on the engine numbers and so forth. So I'm going to take a look at all that engine stuff while I'm talking to you here. Pretty darn accurate. Have you been able to fly FS2020? It's the best. I haven't flown the Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 in a while. I will say that all of the graphics on it are tremendous. I'm not sold on it as a training tool because the stuff is just not accurate in my experience there. All right. Got you loud and clear. Hey, Diego, John, nice to hear from you again, buddy. Nice P180 across the ramp. Yep. Love that Avanti. I've never seen one in person. We don't hear the pilot edge. I don't know. I wish I could figure that out. Rain expected tomorrow and wind. Oh, yeah. Didn't hear that call only on your end. All right. What is going on? Okay, I saw a little bit of... Let's see if we can do something else to get this going here for you. Yeah, I think, all right, it sounds like it's working now. All right, well, that's interesting. Let me try one more thing here. I can't stop fucking with stuff. I'm sorry, folks. Let me go back to the PC desktop controller here. Make sure I haven't muted something over here somehow. Now let's go back to the headphones and see if we can get it there. Nope, not going to do it. All right, weird. Now, the problem is I won't probably be able to hear. But let's just go and get it right. Let's go to our default there. We've got some sound there, and let's see if I still hear it in my headset. All right, let me boost that audio up on the audio mixer here, ATC. Let's go bump that up a little bit. All right, now in a second, we'll just see how that plays out here. SoCal approach, 8 Foxtrot Sierra radio check. 8
Foxtrot Sierra, loud and clear.
Thank you. All right, well, I'm trying to get that sorted back out so I get it in my ears here. Right now, you're hearing it through the default speakers here, and which makes it a little bit tough for me. Sound just completely changed, getting ambient, now back to silent. All KTC good, ambient engine noise is loud. Okay, well, let's get rid of the ambient noise here, the X-plane engine. I'm going to turn that down. You guys can tell me how that goes. All right, turn the engine down a little bit. How does that sound, folks? Somebody give me an idea. I don't know what's tougher, flying an airplane or trying to do a webcast at the same time here. All righty. All right, how's that engine sound now, Ron? 001, still loud. All right, let's turn it down a little bit more here on the mix. Well, that's ATC going down. Let's go. Now let's try this. Now, how's that sound? Alrighty, I've turned it down a couple different places. Man, it's, back in my old day gig, I used to be a rock and roll manager of a band, and which was great because we had professionals handling small items like sound. And so all I had to do was show up. Engine and ATC correlated, correlated as in proper balance. Good. I feel like the singer going, "Hey, how's my sound? Give me more bass. Give me more jumps." All right, I've got them lowered a little bit there, so hopefully they'll stay connected here. All right. I think we're all set now. Okay, nice to have you guys along, Tessie. We got 8 folks here, which is good. So I don't know if you saw the intro here, but I'll file this one under. You meet the greatest people in the Cirrus world, I'll just say. I got an email the other day from a gentleman who who works at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratories up in Livermore, California. And they do all kinds of great scientific work up there. And I'm not like a science buff, but I do keep, in tune with some of the big picture stuff. And back in December, there was a story about how the scientists up at the Lawrence Livermore labs had kind of reached the holy grail of doing a nuclear fusion experiment where they actually got more energy out of it than they put in, which bodes well for the future. Perhaps one day we could get off the oil Jones, forgetting what damage it's likely doing to the planet. And I say that fully acknowledging and aware that I'm up in here on the simulator. We're not causing any damage, but all these planes flying up in the atmosphere is probably not helping anything as well. But just from the geopolitical point of view, it would be nice to not have to count on folks just because they're sitting on a pile of oil. And good Lex Friedman podcast on that fusion. Okay, good, Ron. So anyway, all of that bodes well for that, and probably not in my lifetime, but I have great confidence in human beings' ability to think through problems in modern technologies, ability to kind of help out with some of those things. Okay, let's pull that power back just to 16.2-ish. Now, it's funny, whenever I'm flying in the real plane, I just kind of get back over here. Let's go back to our, okay. All right, so let me just do a little recap so we can see where we're at here on the flight here. We're going Castaic to Gorman. We're at 10,000 feet now. We've got an hour and 15 minutes to Livermore. We'll have fuel on destination of 47 gallons when we get there. That is all good. Now, at this point in the flight, typically as soon as I get to our cruise altitude, what I like to do is I go and I start to take my engine instrument reading. So what I'll typically do is turn over my little takeoff briefing sheet, stick it under the clip here, and get some numbers here. So right now we'll call it 3:30 is the time out here on the West Coast. And I'm going to go through my engine instruments here, which you can see on the engine strip right here. So I'm going to start with my EGTs, which are at 1560 right now. Then 338 for our CHTs, which is nice and cool. We've got our oil pressure is 46. We've got oil temps is 179. And I'm writing all of those down here on my little sheet here. Our fuel flow, let's bump that fuel flow up. I'm trying to get it to 60. My fuel mixture knob is a little sticky. 16.1 will usually get it done. All right, there's 16.1. And by the way, somebody was asking how accurate this is. In my actual G6, if I got 16.1 fuel flow, I'm getting 75% power. So I'm going to put in my 16.1 fuel flow. That's got me for 75% power there. And I'm also going to take note of where we are on tank. Right now we're on our left tank here, and we've got 67 gallons, which you can see up here. And so the reason I keep track of all that stuff is because a half hour from now I'll do another review of all this stuff. And so if I see anything that's starting to change in there, better to get after it a little bit early than wait until it's a freaking crisis here, okay? All right, so we're turning to 300 now. Why are we turning to 300? Okay, let's just see. Because we're going to head up to 118.8 for Bakersfield, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Okay, let's go 118.8. Everybody hear that okay? That's our friends from Pilot Edge, 118.8. Bakersfield approach, Sierra 768, Foxtrot Sierra, level 10, 10,000. 88 for Bakersfield, 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. Okay, I got it right. Our altimeter adjusted here, as you can see. And our autopilot is adjusting for us here. Okay, now we're getting a little bit of a fuel imbalance here. So let's go and switch over to our right tank here. Now right here, we're about to go through some clouds, as you can see up ahead. And you'll also notice down here the outside air temperature is at -2. Now typically that means that there's some potential for icing here. So what I would typically do when I see that, particularly over the last couple of days, is I would go ahead here and on my switch panel, and I would go ahead and turn on the first level of ice protection on our VK system. And what happens is that it spews some liquid here over the wings, 30 seconds on, 90 seconds off. Now I can't tell right here if that little shine is from the sun or whether that's a replication of that VK stuff coming over the top. But that's what would happen here, and it would coat that wing so that if we actually went through this, and I think we'll probably get the very top end of this. I bet. Okay, let's go back and take some more questions from the chat room. The engine, okay, good Lex Friedman. Okay, fission is still our best energy source. We need to build more, I agree. Do you use savvy engine analysis? Back to no ATC. I'm showing ATC on my monitors in here. I do use Savvy Aviation, and I upload all my numbers there. I actually use them on an annual basis as kind of my, I don't want to say second opinion, a second voice, All right, so we just heard a little ATC there. Did you guys not hear that, Ronnie? Because it's showing that on my mixer here, on OBS Studio, which is what I use here, is the streaming software. And the reason I'm always looking off this way is because my monitor is over there on the left. All right, I'm hearing ATC on my end, and it looks like on the monitor here, or on the audio mixer, that we're getting ATC and the X-plane. So I apologize if it's not coming through. It ain't one thing, it's another. Okay, now at this point in the flight, I'm going to show you another little technique that I do. Right now we're on COM 1, okay? As you can see, let's go back to X-plane. As you can see up top here, all right? The little box around there means we're on COM 1. Do not hear pilot heads, that is so strange. Okay, let's go do a little check here. No pilot edge there now, that's for sure. All right, well, I'm just going to have to keep one ear off here and listen to pilot edge here. Now we'll see if we get pilot edge. Bakersfield approach 8 Foxtrot Sierra. I'm having some pilot edge audio issues. Can you hear me okay?
8 Foxtrot Sierra, I hear you perfectly fine.
Thank you. All right, folks, hopefully, well, you let me know if you heard that little exchange there. But now I'm got it coming out of the actual audio up here on the computer speakers, which So I got to pull one of my headphones off, which is not not great because I can't hear very well. Too many years in the rock business, I think. All right, so we're going Gorman to Tapton. We got 12.5 miles. Let's go to our big map here. You can see where we're at right there. I can now hear pilot edge. All right, there's some strange thing happening here, so I'm going to just, there won't be a whole lot of ATC here, so I'll just go old school here. All right, so we're heading to Tapton. So now what I'm going to do, which I was what I was saying there, is that I'm going to go here, now that I've got our ATIS frequency, which is 11965 already set and tower set for Livermore. What I'll do is I'll come down here to this COM2 monitor button, and I'll just click that button, and so it starts monitoring. And so again, one less thing to think about, because it'll kick in and it'll be my reminder to get ATIS if I haven't already thought about it. But in the real Cirrus Gen 6 plane that I have, excuse me, I got something caught in my throat here today. Over down here on the, over underneath the current VNAV profile, there's also an XM weather function down here that I can just flip down to, for example, I can flip down to KLVK, and I could actually pick up the weather that would tell me there was right now. So now we're not able to do that here, but you can. We're going to do that here on our iPad here. So I'm going to go check the weather here ahead of time, and right now I'm going to just, I call it cheating a little bit. We're obviously a long way away here, but I'm just going to note it right now. We got 240 and 7. What I'm really trying to figure out here is what runway I'm going to be landing on. So right now it's 240 and 7. That's not too bad. Skies are clear. That's good. I'm sure that won't last. It'll be raining again tomorrow, I'm sure there. Our runway, they have a runway 25 right and 25 left. Okay, so we're going to take the long runway. Is always my preference. 25 makes it nice and easy. Wind's right down the barrel. So that is awesome. I'll go back to the map. And what I'll do is I will go now, and I will go ahead and load the procedure here. All right, so let's go back up to the
64 Juliet Delta, connect Santa Barbara approach 120.55.
Now I'm afraid
Santa Barbara approach 120.55. 64 Juliet Delta.
Okay, that's not for me. Okay, I'm afraid if I turn him up, you're going to get too much engine there. So we'll see how that plays out. Anyway, let's go to procedure button up here now. So we're going to go. I'll just take you up here close so you can see what's going on. I'm going to click the procedure button. We're going to go select approach. We want the RNAV 25 right GPS LPV. So whenever I have an option, I'll take an RNAV all day. ILS I don't mind. Localizers, you know, I don't love flying the localizer. It's not accurate enough for me. So I'm going to go enter there. And we've got U-Hoot, as you recall, is one of our fixes on our flight plan here. So that makes it nice and easy. We're going to make U-Hoot the initial approach fix. We're going to click enter. Are we going to fly the course reversal? I'm betting we're not. So let's go yes. Oh, no, hang on. Back. It's clear.
Santa Barbara approach, seeking November 6 for Juliet Delta.
I'm going to reload all that. I'm going to click back to the flight plan. We're going to just go start all the procedure. Select approach.
Santa Barbara approach, Santa Barbara
25 right, vector.
Santa Barbara 291, 64 Juliet Delta.
25. There we go. Let's go down to U-Hoot right here. Now, are we going to fly the course reversal? That's a no. What's our? Let's go and check out what our minimums are. I'm going to go pull the approach for. Let's go set up a binder here and flight binder. Now what I've done is I've gone and loaded or taken a look at the approaches. So you can see right here, U-Hoot, what I'm looking for is the minimums, and our minimums is 600. Here's our 600 minimum set, and I'm going to load that approach. Now we go back here. Now our approach is loaded here. All right, so we're all good now. That's excellent. Back to the map. Got a ways to go. We got an hour and 4 minutes. to Livermore right here, and we're looking good. So let's go back to our default view. Let's get rid of the iPad, and let's come back over and see if there's any more questions. Let's see. I can now hear pilot. Was a bit quiet, but certainly there. All right, so you need a little more volume on ATC. Let's bump her up a little bit. ATC, we want a little bit more hues. Okay, there we go. I got that one pushed up a little bit for you folks. I had the same issue today with Pilot. Had to listen to them through my computer, but they heard me through Pete's feed. Yeah, all right, kooky computer stuff. That's what that's all about, kooky computer stuff. All right, let's go and let's get rid of the, actually let's go outside for a second and get a little external view here.
Santa Barbara approach, Skyhawk 9880 spec at 8
There you go, there we are flying up there.
Santa Barbara approach, the standard altimeter is actually 2992. 2992, 80 Quebec. Hey, sir, Quebec, where are you navigating to there right now?
All right, now here's a little kooky quirk here. Let's get rid of the chat thing here right now. Let's go back to X-Plane Clean. There appears to be no pilot in there, so here's a little how you do that with X-Plane and the Torque Sim Aviation. Over in this load manager, I'm going to go in FSE override. I'm going to click right there. Now we got a pilot in there, so there's a little X-Plane trick for you. Let's go external.
Direct Canab, Leopard, Canab works perfect. Roger, see direct Canab, send a 5. Direct Canab.
Now this part of X-Plane, I got to be honest, I actually love this. It's it kind of makes it a little bit more of a storytelling exercise. So. All right, there we are. My little 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Now I'll be sad when 8 Foxtrot Sierra goes, but I'm going to keep my little X-Plane model. So, in effect, maybe it never really goes.
Like the ILS and do remember 106 triangle flying publish unit all the way to San Juan VOR.
5466 Delta SoCal approach, Van Nuys altimeter is 291. You can expect that. Climb and maintain 5,000.
901 will expect that.
All right, back in the cockpit here. Let's left. All right, now I'm going to turn off the ice protector. Doesn't it? We're comfortably above these clouds now. 35.5, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. So let's go up top here. Let's go here. Let's come up close. We went 135.5. Los Angeles Center, Sierra 768 Foxtrot Sierra, level 10, 10,000.
768 Foxtrot Sierra, LA Center, Bakersfield, 208.
Say again, please. I'm trying to listen to you out of the one set of speakers. I didn't hear you.
Foxtrot Sierra, Bakersfield, altimeter 2988.
2987, I think you said, 8 Foxtrot Sierra.
2988.
2988. Thank you, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Now this is the part of flying that it's kind of boring. Let's call it what it is. And so this is where I try to do my best to keep myself occupied and my mind engaged here so I don't turn into a tour. So the first thing I notice is that I've got a tiny bit of a fuel imbalance happening. So I'm going to go and I'm going to switch over to my left tank here, as you can see right here. Okay, so now I've got one more thing checked off my list here. I'll come up and check here. A couple of things I do when I'm up in the plane here just to kind of keep myself occupied. So I'll sometimes go over the checklist, right? And the one that you want to go over so that you're fluent if it ever happens is this emergency checklist. So I'm obviously missed the engine fire during start. That's good. Missed all of that. On the ground emergency procedures. Let's go in flight. Engine failure. Back one. Okay, and we'll go down to engine failure. We're going to take it. We didn't have that happen. One day I'm going to simulate that here, everybody. Let's go back over. I see we got a question here, so let me go back.
55 Sterling
map here.
Tell the merger radar contact.
Back to the chat. Okay, there we are. You're going to rent after you sell. We have a 2022 SR22 G6 for lease here, $525 an hour. Where are you based, Ron?
390 at Shands, contact the tower, 119er, plane enter.
You got a brand new G6, great. It's interesting. I've talked to a couple pilots that have newer Cirruses here. Maybe they just have some bad luck going on here. But they've had, more than a fair share of little tiny bullshit issues that have been nagging them. And unfortunately, that hasn't been the case with the 8 Foxtrots here. I've been pretty lucky on that front. Where I've been lucky and taking care of it by the book has been helpful. But yeah, I'm probably gonna rent after I sell for sure. I've got a couple of folks here in Southern California that have shown some interest in doing a lease back hours. I did that a little bit myself with an attorney buddy of mine. And I'm a weird bird when it comes to partnering on stuff. I try to we explore the possibility of a partnership and so forth. The lease actually worked out pretty good, and helped me defray some of the costs on it. But the partnership didn't quite work out. And, a lot of folks suggested, renting the plane or leasing it to a flight school. And I just thought, you know what? I just couldn't do that. No offense, but a bunch of brand new Cirrus pilots. I remember how I was when I first started. I would hate to have 10 or 15 guys like me jumping in the plane, flying it, differently, each person. That's a recipe for freaking problems, if you ask me. So, true to form, I thought, well, when the day comes that I'm not flying enough hours to make sense out of the finances of a Cirrus G6, I'm going to sell it. So that's what we're doing here. Birmingham, Alabama, is that, Ron? It's a long way. That's a long drive for a flight. Maybe, Ron, if you come out to LA, I'll fly right seat for you, and I'll be your caddy, and I'll show you around all the kooky LAX airspace. Does Perspective have a smart glide feature? I'm not sure what the smart glide feature is. It's not auto land, that's for sure. It has a visual approach feature, which is just awesome. If you're a visual type of person like me, I love seeing the straight lines and being able to look outside the plane and monitor back and forth what's going on inside and outside. And so it makes flying approaches into airports that you're not familiar with a lot easier. So, Perspective have a smart glide. I'm not sure what that is. Explain to me what that is, Ron. I'd like to know what the smart glide feature is. It's got the glide ring here, if that's what you're talking about. And you see right here on the iPad, it's got that. Is that what you're talking about, Ron, the smart glide? Because what's interesting is they had this on ForeFlight long before they had it on the Perspective Plus. So in some ways, ForeFlight is pushing the envelope of some of these aviation. KPAX is just so high on the news here. His local doctor has put his out for rent. KPAX. I'm not sure I understand that number as well. Okay, a local doctor has put his out for rent. Yeah, you know what, folks? Cirrus is not cheap. Call it what it is. For my wife and I, when we bought our Cirrus, I had pretty much been recently retired-ish, and loved flying. And my wife loves traveling everywhere. And for me, strangely enough, not so much, because I spent so much time traveling over the last 35, 40 years in the music business, working as a concert promoter and then as an artist manager, that I've done enough looking out the window in airplanes, let's rephrase that, looking out the side window as a passenger, that I've had my fill, frankly, I'm looking over there. So at any rate, when we got our plane, our Cirrus, we were ready to do some flying. So I'm up to probably, the plane's got about 800 change, engine hours on it, a little bit more than that on the Hobbs, obviously. And I've got about 1,350 hours pilot time right now, which is much more than I ever thought I would get, frankly. But once you start flying under about 200 hours a year, right? And again, my insurance is higher because I'm damn near 68 years old. And since I've had my plane, the insurance has gone nothing but up, so I hate to think what would have happened if I'd actually been okay, go on. I'm in the middle of this. Okay. My other co-pilot just walked in here, was giving me some editorial. My wife, so God love her. So at any rate, once you get under that 200 hours, $500 an hour winds up being about your number. When I did a couple of years where we did close to 300 hours. So at that point, it made a lot of sense. Truth is also, I'm a little bit older. I feel like I'm in good shape, but I'm very... Was that for 8 Foxtrot Sierra?
8 Foxtrot Sierra, it was not.
Thank you. Pardon me for being deaf here.
It's okay.
All right, missed it. So anyway, that's why we are selling our plane. And so yes, I will probably be renting a little bit. I was dry leasing my plane to my attorney buddy for a little bit less than $5 1/4. But it's an expensive hobby, and I have a couple of expensive hobbies. I play a lot of golf, and so that's one. I finally found something that made golf look cheap. But the Cirrus is kind of your country club plane. It's not a starter, that's for sure. And so you got to really love it, and you got to really.
768 Foxtrot Sierra, contact Oakland Center 128.7.
Is that 128.78 Foxtrot Sierra?
It sure was.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's put in 128.7 here. Come up close so you can see it here. 128.7. Cal approach Sierra 768 Foxtrot Sierra level 10 10,000.
Number 768 Foxtrot Sierra, NorCal approach, Memorial, temperature 287.
NorCal approach, hang on one second. I'm having some audio issues. I'll come right back to you. All right, folks, I'm going to have to. I got to come out of this thing for a second here and get my audio where I can hear it. NorCal approach 8 Foxtrot Sierra again. Can you say again, please? I'm having some audio issues here. 29 or 87. Thank you, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. All right, there we're back at 2987. So you missed that call. He was giving me all right, back to the chat room. Hey, JP Hayes, how the heck are you doing? He goes, you've been a great ambassador for the band. Sorry to hear you're selling. Well, you know, I'm actually over the emotional part of selling here, JP. You know, the business guy in me, the bean counter in me, the golfer, the scorekeeper in me took over here. And but yes, JP, the golf game is already on the mend and improving here. As we just get some sunny weather out here in California, that would be awesome. So anyway, oh, capital expenditure. Okay, that's what you meant, Ronnie. You got a Vans RV with G3X Touch and GTN 650. That's what I had in my old Sling 4, which is my first plane here. Ronnie, that's a lot of hours. Got a part in my plane, and we still don't make 200 hours between us. Well, you know, I was retired. It's like, as my youngest son would say, I was out there. What else? When I was thinking about buying a plane, he goes, what else are you going to do? Buy your plane, you know? You worked, go buy a plane. So we did. And, but now my sons have gotten a little bit older, and one of my sons is now a junior member. JP, you'll appreciate this, at Bel Air Country Club out here in LA. My youngest son will hopefully be going through that process in a couple of years. So there's just other things in my life that are singing a little bit louder to me. But having said that, I've got hundreds of hours of video that nobody's seen except me, that are my great memories of flying around the country in our Cirrus. You know, this past week we were supposed to go down to Key West. Then the weather got shitty out here, and then it was getting worse across the country, and then you're trying to balance when you're flying across the country. I explained this to my wife. I said, what you see in LA is going to get to wherever we're going at some point. And so I'm not interested in flying all the way across the country to sit in a hotel room in Key West and then have to battle all that weather on the way back. So right now that trip is on hold because now my wife's got other things going on. So whether we make it to Key West or not, to be determined. But I know from personal experience of going around the country 3 times already, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of mental discipline required for something like that. And so we'll see how we're going to do. We're going to go to Livermore, I suspect, before we go to Key West is my bet. Remember, I need about 24 hours on a little more capable plane, twin, or ideally a turbine, but there aren't a great option. Like you mentioned, insurance is a big and growing problem. Well, I'll tell you what, when you go to a turbine engine or a twin, I get the twin. Turbines are pretty expensive when they go sideways, although they're all expensive. But yeah, flying is a great hobby, but it's an expensive one, and so it's best not to have kids and other stuff there as well. So anyway, so if any of you guys know anybody who would like to buy a finely maintained Cirrus that's got a lot of life left in her, and she's been treated like a little diva, let me know, or call up my friend Sarah Talucci. All right, back to business here. We got some wispy clouds we're going through here. We got 45 minutes. Yeah, Key West, Ron, is, I like the idea of going there as well. One of the guys that used to work for me, or used to work for this band, Incubus, I used to manage, lives down in Key West. We were just trading emails the other day, and was hoping to see him, but he's a big boating guy, and he goes, hey, I'll take you out on the boat. You can take me up on the plane. And I told him, I said, Ed, I'm scared shitless of getting further away from the shore than I think I could swim. He goes, well, I'm scared shitless of getting on a plane with you. So anyway, so we're even, so that might not happen anyway. All right, let's come up close and see where we're at here. We're on our way Avenal to Ute. got 123 miles, got 45 minutes to go. We're gonna have fuel on destination is 47. So, once again, right now, I would be listening to my XM radio on the Cirrus. Now, back on the Cirrus, one of the things that's great about a Cirrus, and you pay for it, is all those gadgets and stuff you have in the plane. XM radio, you can get, I had that in my little Sling 4 as well. XM satellite weather is really awesome to have. The satellite phone, which seems excessive and like over the top, has come in handy so many times, whether it's, phoning in clearances on the ground somewhere, or, calling ahead to let people know where you're at, or calling up an FBO to make sure that they've got fuel and all of that kind of stuff. So all of those touches. In the ATC call there, it's not for me. You can always tell the Cirrus pilots with the smiles on their face in the dead heat of summer. I'm sure you deal with this, Ronnie, down there in Birmingham, when it's hot as a pistol and humid and muggy, and when you don't have air conditioning. Wow, that's tough. We don't get the humidity out here, Ronnie, but we get some cooking heat, and the Cirrus guys are always smiling. They don't have to open up the door and all that stuff. So anyway, well, let's take a look around out here. We're going to look to the left. We've got some nice weather on today. Today would have been a good day to fly. Now there's a little trick that you can do here in the Cirrus with X-Plane, where you go up to the top here, and there's a little button here. I don't know if you can see it. It looks like a little teardrop or a pin. You click on that, and up comes this map. And what you can do is you can click on this plane and shove it forward. I did that the other night, and I don't know whether it's Pilot Edge. It always happens when I have Pilot Edge going simultaneously. Totally crashed the whole thing, so I never got to do the approach proper into Livermore here. So today I'm going to resist the temptation to mess around with that and leave things alone while everything is working here. What time is it right now? It's 4:04. I got to be done at 5, so that should be fine here. Yeah, Ron, AC, man, is underrated. It really is. Particularly, even flying around in California during the summer, man, you get out to Bakersfield and Fresno and some of these places in the Central Valley, or I should say God forbid, I love going to Phoenix, but Phoenix is hot as hell. I don't know if JP Hayes is still here. We've been to El Paso a couple times at the beginning of the summer, and it is freaking hot. And, having air conditioning it's just amazing. And even when, you got to turn your air conditioning off before you take off, just that minute or so that the air conditioning is off is brutal. So as soon as we get up in the air, and you've probably seen it on some of the videos, as soon as we get airborne, I tell my wife, air conditioning, please. Quickly, give me the air conditioning. And because it's just a lifesaver. All right, let's take a look out to the right here and see what we've got. We're over the Central Valley-ish right here. Coming up on King City on the left here. Let's just see. Now, I'm going to go over to my iPad here for a second. Now, for you guys, I don't know how many of you guys are IFR pilots here, but the IFR charts, I don't really love looking at them, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go over to my VFR sectional flights here, because you actually get a little bit more. It's easier to get information. I'm trying to figure out where the heck we are. We're over Coalinga, we're over Lemoore. There's a big military operation area here. So in the real world of Cirrus here, flying in California, this would be where you'd be getting all kinds of traffic from fighter planes, and their handles are a little bit different, obviously, than normal GA ones. But you get a lot of activity around Lemoore here. There's an Air Force base somewhere out there, Naval Air naval base, not a naval Air Force. So we're near Coalinga here, where King City is coming up over here on our left. Big Sur. So we're coming up near Monterey, which would be over here out on the left. But you can't see it right now. But Monterey, for all you golfers out there, that's hollowed ground. All right, let's get rid of that iPad. Okay, now for any of you folks that are X-Plane folks, what's the keyboard command to speed up here? I had it actually programmed here on my little controller here, but I'm looking through. I of course revamped all my buttons here, and somehow I managed to lose the X-Plane gizmos. Jeez, no, don't have it there. RV climbs 2,000. That RV is a cool little plane here. Did you build your... They're getting some ATC on Pilot Edge. Did you build your own RV, Ron? Because my Sling 4 was an experimental, but it was built by the manufacturer and shipped to the U.S., and that's when I bought it. Okay, let's go over to the flight plan here. Come up close here so you can see what's going on. I go up here, but now I need to go over to my IFR plane here. Go and show you what I'm thinking about. Okay, we've got U-Hoot right here. We need to be at 3,700 feet at U-Hoot, which you see it right here on the flight plan. So what I'm trying to do is set up an RNAV or a VNAV profile. So I'm going to go 3700, put that in manually. And it's too early to... I'm going direct U-Hoot, which is actually we are going direct U-Hoot now. Okay, so here's a good example of where we can kind of get ahead of the game a bit. U-Hoot, we're going direct U-Hoot right now. We've loaded the approach here. We've not activated the approach. If I go direct U-Hoot or go up here to procedure and activate approach, it's going to take me direct to U-Hoot, right? So let's go see if that's actually going to work. So we click activate approach, and sure enough, we go direct U-Hoot. You'll see IA, which is indicated or initial approach fix there, okay? So now let's go see if that also set up a vertical nav profile, and sure enough it is. We've got 23 minutes and 35 seconds to our top of descent. Now, I kudos to all of the pilots who flew without a little bit of ATC there again. So kudos to all the pilots who flew without all the digital stuff. I'm an old guy, but I'm very, very comfortable with all the digital avionics. And things like this VNAV profile right here is just money. This time to top of descent. So it kind of lets me know what I've got to get prepared for here. Are you guys not hearing ATC right now? Just out of curiosity, I'm just interested to see if this thing is kind of popped in here by some chance here. Let's just see here for a second now. Nope, looks like it went away again. Okay, don't get it. All right, sorry, I'll have to figure out this ATC another time there, gents. Don't know what's going on with that. All right, so I'm going to switch my tank over to the left tank here just to even it up a little bit. Okay, now we've lost the engine noise. Hey, Scott. Nice to see you here today. Let me see if I can figure out why the... Let's see if you got some engine noise back there again. Kooky today. You know, a lot of stuff going on with these simulators, truth be told. And so it's amazing it all works here. I'm actually blown away with what you can do now with these simulators. The fact that I could have this set up here, which is damn close to just being in the cockpit, is amazing. And somebody asked me earlier in the chat there, do I think I could teach somebody how to fly a Cirrus in the simulator here? And I could certainly get them very comfortable with the avionics. 120905 for NorCal, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Thank you. Sorry you guys missed that. 120905 is where we're going. NorCal approach, Sierra 768 Foxtrot Sierra, level 1010,000. Two 848 Foxtrot Sierra. Will I discuss approaches into Livermore with you or the next controller? 8 Foxtrot Sierra. I'd like the RNAV 25 right and start at U-Hoot. Or U-Hut. Okay, we're across U-Hoot at or above 4,000. We're clear for the RNAV 25 right approach. 8 Foxtrot Sierra, thank you. 25 right straight in, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. All right, so now he's giving us a little something different here. So let's go up close up here. Let's go close here. So now we're going to go back over here to the flight plan, to the FMS. We're going to go down to U-Hoot. Now we're going to put in 4,000, 4000, and hit enter. Now that should change our little time to top of descent here in a second. And then we're also, this would never happen in the real world of California flying, I can assure you, is we're going to go ahead and click the approach. And you can see right here, we've now got glide path in vertical is all set and ready to go. U-HUT. Okay, got it. All right. U-HUT. All right, good enough for me. So, Scott, let's go over to the chat room here. So, Scott, you have an SR-22 turbo hangar there in Livermore. How long you had your SR-22 turbo? Is that a G5, G3, G6? This flight model that we're flying here on the sim is a G3 model, so it's a little bit different, although fortunately I have all of the G6 set up here on the FMS, which makes it nice and easy. Now, this is another little thing here. When you kind of get out of the chat mode here, let's go clean here for a second. We're going to come up close on the instruments here. All right, so he's cleared me again. This would never happen in the real world. He'd be bringing me down. So it's a good chance to use some of the functions here on the sim. So let's just see if all this again. We're going to go up to U-HUT, right, or U-HUT. Sorry. And I'm going to go click on the VNav Direct, and let's see if that's going to. Okay, now it didn't give me VNav Direct. Okay, actually it did. I got to go to 4,000 here, match my altitude there, and then I'm going to hit VNav. And sure enough, it's actually bringing us down a little bit. Now, it's very gentle, 265 feet per minute climb. You can see right here that we've matched our VNav reference altitude with our altitude selects at 4,000. We're coming down at 278 feet a minute, and we're going to be 21 minutes to get there. So you can see right here on the PFD that it's actually doing that. So VPath is armed. Green is there. We've got our glide path and approach is armed as well, so we're looking good. So this is, again, one of those great things about the Cirrus. Oh, you got one for 2.5 months, Scott. God bless you. I still got the smell of a brand new plane, I'm sure. Good for you, man. I love that. So again, Scott, you'll appreciate, I know you probably appreciate this. All the great features in the Cirrus Perspective Plus that really take some load off the pilot, right? And I've had this conversation with some of the, I'd say old school pilots because I'm an old guy, but pilots that have been doing this a long time without any of these great digital, tools. They think you're kind of a wuss for using all this stuff, but I'm going to tell you, flying it's all consuming up here. So anything that can take a little bit of the load off, I'm all for. And today, flying on a day when it's nice and clear like this is easy. But if we're going bouncing around through clouds coming into the Bay Area and it's cloudy and rainy and shitty, having all those little helpers, mama's little helpers, is hugely important in my book. And I just can't get enough of it, frankly. All right, so let's go to our map here. So let's go up top and get a little scorecard review. We're heading direct to U-HUT, 64 miles to go. We've got 25 miles till we land here. That's 420. This approach winds up working nicely. Now, the one thing I'm afraid to do this. Okay, let's. Got one little issue with my Cirrus cockpit here, and it's that this little knob here, for the range button, which you can push up and down, gets a little stuck, and I can't go up and down And the way to fix it is to pull it out a little bit, but I'm always scared to death I'm going to pull it right out of its socket there. And I didn't do it then, but I'm afraid I will. So push and pan. Okay, it's not going to work. So I'm not going to mess with that. I'll break it. I'll just have to deal with it. The ILS-25 right is pretty much identical to the RNAV. Yeah, you know what? Scott, I don't mind flying the ILSs because most of them are pretty similar, actually. You know, but there's been times when I've kind of faked an ILS approach with GPS, you know, and which is not supposedly it's against the rules and all that stuff. But the truth of the matter is, once you're up in your plane, I think the most important thing is that you fly an approach, you know, at the altitudes, at the speed, you know, in a stable manner. That's number one. The truth of the matter is, nobody knows how you're doing it when you're in the plane. Ready to copy 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Simone, can you give me the spelling on Simone 8 Foxtrot Sierra? Okay, we're going to direct Simone. We'll cross Simone at 5,000, and we're cleared for the RNAV approach, 8 Foxtrot Sierra. Okay, now I don't know where the heck Simone is, but let's just put it in here. S-M-O-N-E, enter, enter. We're going direct Simone now. Wants 5,000 on Simone. Let's go 5000, enter. Okay. Now where the heck is Simone? Let's just see where that is. Simone is UHUT. Okay, it's in front of UHUT. All right, fair enough. So we want 5,000 then. We still got our V path going here, so. All right, so he gave us an amendment to our flight plan, which was to go to Simone at 5,000 feet, so that's what we can do. Yeah, Ron, I've had that. You got to be careful with the heat, that sunlight coming in on the iPad. That's for sure. Let's go Simone, S-M-O-N-E. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, now Simone is one of the options on the 2-5 right approach. So now if I go up to direct Simone, I've actually activated. So, but what I'm going to do is reactivate here this procedure, activate the approach again, and it doesn't change anything. Okay, we're good. And we're still descending on our V path. Okay, so we are all good. Let's go to my nav log here. Let's get rid of... Now, once I've got everything set up properly over here on the FMS here, right, what I do is I like to get everything synced up on my iPad. So what I've done here now is I've got all that stuff. I've adjusted my flight plan up here, added the approach here, and now is flipping the chart onto the iPad, which I really love that a lot. Okay, so we're not going to fly that. Simone is south of Byron. Okay, I think I've flown to Byron once. I'm presently about 1 mile west of Darnay. Okay, good. Okay, Darnay's down at the end. Okay, so you're close to the airport there. All right, good. All right, 11 minutes and 12 seconds to the bottom of descent here. So everything is looking good right now. Manifold pressure, how did we get to 29.7 here? Let's go kick that down a little bit. Push our mixture up just a hair-ish. Okay, 16.1. There we go. All right, now the truth of the matter is, again, in terms of accuracy, somebody asked about that earlier. Unlikely that we'd be going, at least in my G6, 162 knots. The TorqueSim aviation flight model is a little bit hot on the indicated airspeed. And I've discussed that with the young genius guy, Cooper LeComte, that's built all the software for this. And hopefully it'll be addressed at some point. They're going to do a flight model for a G6 Cirrus, he's told me. So hopefully that will be sooner rather than later, since that might be the only place I'm flying the G6 here. All righty. Now you can see up top here on the X-plane, this is an X-plane driven weather here. So 2200 Zulu weather, wind is 250 at 11, all right. We had 240 at 7 when I checked. Visibility is more intense, sky condition is 4100 scattered, temperature 15, altimeter is 29 or 85, which is good. We're landing on runway 25 right. Okay, so all that's good. Now we should start picking this up on, or I'm going to start picking it up here on my GCU here. Let me just show you what that. You see right here, we've got COM2 in monitor mode here, and that should start coming up here in a second, I think. Got 8 minutes and 25 seconds to our bottom of descent here. 17 minutes to go. Okay, so now it looks like we're coming through a little layer here. I'm checking our outside air temperature, which you can see right here. We're at 3 degrees, so I don't think there's any threat of icing, so I'm not going to hit the icing VK TKS stuff right now. It looks like we'll be through this pretty quickly here. You look off to the right, we see we got ground contact. To the left, we got ground contact. So just some wispy stuff here. All right, Scott, see, that's when I don't know how to get the squelch to do that, so I'm just going to wait patiently here for it. Because that's it's just one of those things that, you get into a routine in your plane, right, and what works for you. And so that's like one of my gentle reminders. So I'm going to see how long it takes for it to kick in here on Pilot Edge. You guys aren't going to hear it, unfortunately, but I'll tell you when it goes. manifold pressure again. Now, for some strange reason in the model today, my manifold pressure keeps. Now I'm getting the ATIS here on my Pilot Edge. I don't know how much those Cirrus rent for at Clipper out at Van Nuys. There's another place here in Hawthorne, which is not far from me. They're both about equal distance. You know, it depends on which freeway you want to be stuck on, 405 going north or 405 going south. Santa Monica was going to be closing in 4 or 5 years, so that was always weighing on my mind here. But Santa Monica is just perfect for me. It's about 10 minutes to my favorite golf club and about another 10 minutes from there to Santa Monica. So for the last 6-7 years, you know, a good chunk of my life is in between those stops: home, Bel Air, Santa Monica, and home. So I'll miss that part of it. And I'm going to hope that some of my buddies that are flying Cirruses that come through Santa Monica that need somebody to ride with them, they'll invite me for a ride. I'd be happy to do that. All right, so we're not getting any buildup on the windows here, so that there's not much moisture in these clouds today. Now you see right there, we've got our chart loaded up on iPad through ForeFlight. Love ForeFlight. I should build a statue to these guys. I see a comment here, Ron, about the hunting on the ILSs. You get a little bit of that hunting here on the flight model here. Kind of used that. All right, Scott Pritch says, I'll be flying to Santa Monica soon to visit my daughter who lives in Marina del Rey. What's the best parking solution for a short stay? Well, you're probably, if you're just going to be in and out during the day, if you land on runway 21 to your left, you will see, you know, the administration offices and what there used to be a restaurant there. And right in front of that kind of big black building on your left is the transient parking. And I don't know what it costs you for transient parking at Santa Monica. I'd be shocked if it was free. Because while I love Santa Monica Airport, and I love the folks that work in the tower there, I think the fact that some of those people are going to be out of a job in 5 years is weighing on them, and not in a good way. So they've made everything there is unuser friendly as they possibly can. So out of all the airports I fly around in Southern California, Santa Monica is one of the few that actually charge you to land and to take off. So that's kind of a drag. So, but when you come in, if you exit, you'll have to circle back or taxi back to the transient parking. But it'll be on your left-hand side. And there's a row of hangars and then the admin buildings, and that's where you'll park. And from there, it's pretty easy. You go out and get an Uber or whatever you need to do. They have SR-20 G6, I know for rent at Santa Monica. Yeah, I've seen the planes at Santa Monica, and I'm familiar with Proteus. And again, not to be shitty about it, but I actually rented a G6 before I actually took delivery of my SR-22. And I got in the plane, and I don't know what this guy who owned it had done, but this whole area up here was just ruined, right? And that's all I could think about the whole flight with my instructor, which is like, well, if this is like this, what's the engine like? And it was just too much for me to process. And that's why I say I'm not a great partner. I like things a certain way, and I like them to stay that way. And so I shouldn't say that, but I wasn't impressed with the rental selection back before I got my plane, so I probably wouldn't be inclined to go there. All right, so you can see here we're coming through some general clouds here at 5,300. They were projecting some weather there at 4,100 scattered, and so it's a little bit higher than that, but let's see if we got some ground. Okay, no ground contact to the left, no ground contact on the right. Cal Air Hawthorne shares are much cheaper than JATO Aviation up there. Yeah, Cal Air Hawthorne is likely where I would rent a plane. But the truth of the matter is I've got a couple folks out here who are recent SR-22 owners that have expressed some willingness to rent me up their plane if I was so inclined. And I'm betting you that's what I'll likely do. Because at least with those owners, I know they're not renting it to 10 people here. So JATO up in aviation, I remember the first time flying up there to Palo Alto and then to San Carlos, and I'd never seen so many Cirruses in one place. And one day I flew up to San Carlos to pick up my son, one of whom was in the music business. And he was up at a festival in San Francisco, and I came into San Carlos and saw all these Cirruses parked over up to the right of the runway. So I thought, oh, great, I'll just park over here, only to find out I was in the JATO parking space, and they weren't nearly as happy with me doing that as I was, so I had to move my plane. All right, so we're starting our descent in here now, so let's go through and take care of some business. First, I'm going to flip over to my left-hand tank right here. I'm going to go through. We're going to go back up top here get back to the flying before takeoff flight. Let's go down to descent checklist here. Okay, altimeter, we've got 2985 is what it said down there, so we'll get 2985 set. We get our cabin heat defrost. We've got our landing light we're going to put on now. Our fuel system, we've just moved it over. Let's put our mixture at full mixture right here. Okay, what the heck is going on here? Something's going haywire here. Let's go back to U-HUT direct. I'm doing something strange here. What is going on here? Let's swing this baby around. Let's see. Hopefully it keeps coming around. All right, something went haywire there on the approach here on the flight model here. So we're coming back around to U-HUT. That was strange. You can see it here on the iPad a little bit easier. We got way circled around. Let's see if we're going to pick it up and go back in the right direction. 8 Foxtrot Sierra, I know you're watching me wondering what I'm doing here. Something went wrong. I'm heading back direct to U-HUT right now. One 209 or 5 8 Foxtrot Sierra. 8 Foxtrot Sierra 1209 or 5. All right, well, that was weird. Okay, it happens sometimes. And so in a real plane here, you'd have to figure that out pretty quick here. So we're going back to U-HUT. Now I'm going to come up and check all our instruments here. We're going direct U-HUT. Got 11.5 miles. It looks like we're getting back on track here. Our glide path, okay, our approach is still armed. Are we descending now? We want to be at 5,000, he said, at U-HUT. No, we want to be 4,000 at U-HUT. So let's get 4,000 in there. Get our VNAV back in there. Okay, now we're back descending for 4,000. Are we going to make it there? Let's go to our flight plan. Okay, now we're back on track. Let's sync up our heading here. Pay attention. We've got 3 minutes, 15 seconds to our bottom of descent here. Getting back on track here. All right, so we're back to you. That's okay. Now I'm going to start to pull a little bit of power here because I don't want to be ripping at 162 knots. So I'm pulling back our power. I'm going to go full mixture now on our flight model here because it gets a little strange when you do it late in the ball game. There's Tracy. Okay, let's pull our power back to, I'm going to pull it back to about 30%. Let this speed come down here a little bit. Our left tank, our mixture's full. Flaps are not in yet. Okay, so now we got our speed under control, so put some power back in there up to about 50%-ish. Yeah, I'm looking at, yeah, I'm going to paying attention to what I'm doing here. But yeah, as you get closer to 70, everything gets more expensive. And you know what? Let's go over here for a quick second. I'm actually okay with that, because I'm in good shape and everything. I don't want to have a senior moment and find out that I'm losing my marbles in an airplane. That's just not good for anybody. And so I'm always happy to fly with another Cirrus pilot. And unfortunately, I love my wife to death, but she's pretty good in the plane, but she's not a Cirrus pilot, and she always wants to pull out her notes. I go, hon, if something happens, there's no time to pull out your notes. You just got to know. All right, so all right, we're getting close to the end here, folks. So I want to thank you all. I'm going to concentrate on getting the rest of this done here. So I'm going to go back over here. Let's go right here so you can see. Looking out that front window, we've got clouds ahead of us. We're at 4,200, so we got the scattered clouds as advertised. Let's check left. Still no contact below, no contact to the right. Okay, so we're going to be making this turn here in a little bit. Okay, I've got 118.1 preloaded, 1216, which is ground. So the next one, I'll cancel IFR right now, and I'll switch over to the CTAF 85 shots here. Squawking VFR 85 shots here, thank you. Okay, so now we got to go down to 3,200 for gains. We're going to do that old school here. Actually, we've got the glide path now, so we're good. All right. Livermore Municipal, Sierra 768, Foxtrot Sierra 4,200 inbound on the RNAV 25 right. Livermore traffic. Yeah, I think I got the airport in sight there. All right, so we got 120 here. I'm going to keep it right here. Slow it down just a little bit, sync our heading. Kind of lost my glide path here somehow. So we'll just do this old school 2300. Let's bring it down here. Okay, let's get our flaps in here. So I'm going to pull some power, get it under 120. Flaps in, hold that nose down. I'm going to take it off of autopilot now. Just fly her in. A little high. Got one red, one white. White looks like we're good. Livermore traffic, Silver Cirrus on our final for RNAV 25 right, about 5 mile final. Livermore traffic. Okay, now looking at the plate here, we're on 25 right. We're going to get off on second taxiway there. Try for Charlie or Delta. Okay, we're picking up our pathways. Love that. All right. All right, I'm going to take it, give you the same look. I'm going to get over the hood here. Let's get her on track here, Steve. There we go. Got one red, one white. We're looking good. Got winds coming right down the barrel here. Okay, I'm going to put in my last Got 2.3 to the missed approach. Let's go ahead and wait a little bit and get our last flaps in there in a second. And now we'll put our last flaps in there. Hold that nose down. Wants to jump up a little bit. Still got white and red. We're looking good. Continuing. A little high. Two reds, two whites. Trimming and pulling a little bit of power. Pulling some power and trimming. Pulling some power and trimming. Going to be 77 over those numbers. Close. Let's get it straightened up here a little bit. Okay, runway made. Pulling the power out. Trimming. Hold that nose up. Okay, let's keep her in the center of the fairway there. Okay, all good. Power's all the way back. Let's get some flaps in there. Missed the first one. We'll get Delta here. There's Delta. All right, let's get off on Delta here. All right, so we're going to go Livermore traffic, Silver Cirrus, clear active runway, taxiing to 5 Rivers Aviation, 850. Okay, let's pull her ahead here. Okay, now we're getting kooky here. All right, let's get over here. And now we'll just come over in here. Let's go into 5 Rivers Aviation. That looks like the place over here. Actually, I'll come down a little bit further here. All right, let's pull in here right now. Oh, shit. Didn't see him. That would have been a mess. All right, we're just going to go over here and park. All righty, let's put our brake on here. Let's go and turn off the fuel pump. We're going to cycle the prop back again. Mixture off. And engine off. Okay, we're all good there. Let's go down to our glove box here. Let's get our engine numbers here. Okay, we're finishing with 25.9. We've got 20.4 is our engine hours. Let's come back, close that up, come back up top, and we've got 45 gallons left on board, and that is it. Okay, let's turn them all off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, everything's off, and we're back here. All right, I want to thank you guys for joining me today. My name is Steve Rennie. I am the Ren Baron, and this is a little sim flight from Santa Monica to Livermore, California. It's fun hanging out with you guys, and hope to see you again here soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye now.